So, thank you to Cantor Kathy for such a lovely service in which I can say a few words about Grace House. And thank you for your patience. I'll make it brief so we can get out there and get to work on our tans, I guess. If anybody can stand being outside right now. But Grace House, this has been a 6-year project, maybe 7. Grace House, though, what does that word mean? I was a little taken aback when it was named by my colleagues. I thought, isn't that more of a Christian word? Does that exclude us as Jews, or does that exclude Muslim? So I had to go to the dictionary, dictionary.com, of course. And what does grace mean? Many things. Mercy, a pleasing quality, moral strength, to favor or honor, as well as the state of being pleasing to God. That's grace. But let's stick with mercy and honor for our purposes tonight, okay? Many of us have walked with a loved one on their journey towards death. Were they honored by us? Most likely. Were they shown mercy? We hope so. We hope and pray that they were shown both, and that they were shown kindness, that they were shown love, that they received love, and they were able to give love at the end, close to the end. But having you there in person or remotely, showing your love for them, honoring them, seeing they received mercy, was so important. And your walking with them on that journey was so important, wasn't it? You all probably have memories like this. We all do. I certainly do. I wasn't in the room when either parent died, yet they always knew I was with them, if not in person, but in spirit, with great love and respect, and helping to see they got the best care possible. And it led me, this was 30 years ago. They died a month apart, and that led me into this work of hospice and palliative care, honestly. But let's picture for a second someone alone on that journey. Use your imagination as opposed to your memories of your own journey. Use your imagination to think about what it's like to be alone, perhaps even without a roof over your head. No one calls. No one visits. No one holds your hand through that final journey. How sad and difficult that would be. It's hard to even imagine that kind of loneliness and despair. But such a lonely and tragic journey that would be. In my work with hospice, not to bring you down, but I've seen this hundreds, if not thousands of times. I've been doing this for 30 years, as I said. I've seen it over and over again. People who die without affection or companionship or family. No one calls, no one visits. They're entirely alone. But can you imagine that? Can we really get our heads around that? Can you really feel it? Feel what that would be like? It's a terrible feeling. Not to bring you down on the Sabbath here, but it's what it is. It happens every day. It's happening now. Grace House seeks to remedy that for our community. It's been a 6-year journey, as I said, almost 7 now, of planning and fundraising, recruiting. We've exceeded our fundraising goals to build Grace House by almost 50%, thanks to our community. All of that 50% has been taken up by inflated costs for labor and for construction. As you know, that's affected everyone. But thank God for the generosity of our community. We have great board, great committees. I'm the only physician on the board. We have builders, attorneys, many nurses, other administrators in healthcare. So we bring tremendous and broad experience. All these people who have worked to make this happen. And we've had good support from our rabbi and from individual members of Temple Israel already. And that's much appreciated. But going forward, we're going to depend entirely on charitable support every year because we'll have no revenue stream. All of our residents in Grace House will be enrolled in community hospices, and the revenue flows to them. Although we've had public support In the construction phase, for about 10 to 15% of it, we'll have none to sustain us over the years. In our initial fundraising, we did plan for 2 years of budget sustenance in order to be responsible. So as I said, the residents will be enrolled in community hospices. We will provide housing, care, feeding, a roof over their heads, volunteers to hold their hands and provide them care and comfort. And what we're trying to do is become a family for our residents. Now, who are these folks that we're caring for? Who are the homeless, the friendless, the isolated? Some are isolated and without care just by chance, by just bad luck, bad fortune, as you know. You've seen this yourselves probably. Some by substance abuse and mental illness, or both together, more frequently. Some have burned a lot of bridges to family and friends. You've probably all seen this as well. But do they deserve to die alone? I learned many years ago that it's not up to us to judge the dying, is it? But to care for them is everything. It's everything we're about as Jews. It's everything my parents would have wanted me to do, and probably your parents too. But that's all I wanted to say about Grace House and our wonderful team of people that made it happen. We are set to open in July. We were going to be a Mitzvah Day project, but there have been delays, as for many things, post-pandemic or intra-pandemic, you could say, with delayed arrival of some essential construction materials. But our grand opening is next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's at the corner of Olive and Howard Street behind St. Thomas Hospital. So if you drive by, look it over, see what you think. It's going to be 6 beds, 6 residents. We sized that according to survey locally of our community hospices, as well as using national metrics from an organization of like hospice facilities, residences around the country. There's probably about 50 of them. There's Malachi House in Cleveland, which is, I think, 22 beds. So 6 beds is about right for our community. But many thanks for your time this evening to talk about Grace House. We still need volunteers and support. You can find our website easily, just gracehouseakron.com. Take a look at it. But I do have to say, this is a heck of a way for Julie and I to celebrate our 43rd anniversary today. We dated a week before coming engaged. Was it a full week? 2 weeks, I'm sorry. 2 weeks before becoming engaged 43 years ago. Then on a date, not long after that, Julie had to pay after my vehicle had been towed and impounded because of overdue traffic tickets at Kent State. She had to pay. I was broke. I was without funds most of the time. Unpaid parking tickets, right? But she showed me mercy. She showed me grace.